it is the real world, exactly. So our training is not is different. What I'm the content I provided or I've put together and I share, um, it doesn't serve for certification. I mean, you can use the things we've learned and go do. Sorry, streaming is double. All right, so it's you can take the things we learn and go do certification exams, right? And you'll be fine. You need to obviously do a little more, go a little deeper. But at the core of what I give is not to pass an exam. It's not to explore the full length and breadth of SQL Server. That's a whole university course. It's specifically geared towards getting a job. All right, so it's career centric. Basically, you should be able to take the things I teach, and the day you step into your first job, you shouldn't feel like you're seeing it shouldn't sound Greek because it's things you relate to. So one way to start testing it out is start looking at job descriptions versus the things in the modules and what we're covering, right? That's the first assessment is, okay, are the things I'm seeing here even consistent with what the marketplace is looking for? That's the first thing I'll say check for. Those simulations, between the homeworks and the demo videos, all of those things are as practical as they get. The only difference between them and doing it at work or doing it in the office is size or capacity, right? So we're doing it at a significantly lower, smaller scale, right? Right now in class, it's significantly at a smaller scale. If you're doing it on the job, you're going to be dealing with higher, volumes of data. So instead of the small, how many megabytes of data that we get to deal with in class, small megabytes. In the office at work, we deal in terabytes. We deal with massive amounts of data. All right, but the same thing when you're configuring anything, it's still the same steps. It's not going to be different. The process to configure, create a table, to install SQL Server, it's the exact same thing, whether you're doing it at work or doing it in class. So things like installation, patching. If you get a job tomorrow and they have you doing some new server builds or new server installations, it's exactly what you did or what we're doing through the class. That's exactly what we're doing. If you have to run scripts to create tables or do anything, it's exactly what we're doing in class. If you have to implement backups or backup a database or restore it somewhere, it's exactly what we're doing in class. All right, so everything you're consuming is almost all the time directly applicable. There are some foundational things that maybe will not directly translate to the workplace, but they are essential to learn the things that are higher, right? So there are, I'm trying to give a good example. Learning things like, so one of the things I cover, like, say, even say virtualization down the road. Virtualization VMware is not something we're going to directly deal with. The server engineers are the ones that will build the VMs that will create the virtual servers. But we're going to be building servers on the VMs. So the VMs are there to, if we don't have them, we won't be able to create a network and, simulate a network and have multiple servers for high availability, right? They're like, down in the class. So it's the same thing. So that in that situation now, the virtualization per se might not be a SQL Server, it might not be a core thing that we see, even though we deal with it in some way, shape, or form. The session where I talked about, like, say, history of SQL Server, all of the evolution of SQL Server, the different versions of SQL end to end, right? All of those things, nobody's going to ask you those questions in an interview.
Okay.
Nobody's going to ask you about what was the first version of SQL Server 2000. Nobody's probably, because it doesn't do anything for it. It's not something you're going to be doing on the job. On the job, you're not going to be, some of those versions are deprecated, they're no longer supported, nobody's using them, right? But I had to give you that history so you understand the journey and how SQL Server has evolved, how we've done patching and how it's been done now, service packs and all of that. But in practical application, installation is installation. patching is patching, right? Creating tables is creating tables. The only thing is you're going to be creating way bigger tables. You're going to be backing up massive databases, but the steps, what you're going to click to arrive at that result doesn't change, right? So the reason why I take a lot of time to explain things in the video, and the main reason why I still have the sessions, even after creating that masterpiece of a product, right? So you can't tell me anything. That's the best training product out there. the reason why I still have this is I want to drive home why, not necessarily how, right? Why are we going about it this way? Do you understand the core concepts? And so when you say you understand it, for me, that's music. Because they are different for every situation you run into. There might be multiple ways. There will be multiple ways to resolve certain issues or implement certain solutions, right? There will be multiple approaches you can take to get to a certain result. However, it is understanding the different solutions that makes you decide, okay, this is the better one to go versus going this way, right? If you don't understand how these things work, you won't be able to choose the better solution, and you just go with what is presented. Some people just give you responses like, well, that's how I typically do it, and they can't give you an explanation. That's always, to me, the laziest answer to any, as a technical person, and just in life generally. When, okay, why are we doing it like this? Well, that's how we do it, or that's how it's done. Have you cared to understand why it's been done that way? Because the situations that led to us doing it this way might have changed. So that's why I'm a big advocate for, don't just learn how to click and get to the results. Let's understand why how the things work, so that we can always make good decisions when it comes to picking a solution, right? Why is this approach? There's 5 different high availability solutions. Why am I going to do high availability? Why am I going to do always on instead of doing failover clustering, right? I have to be able to say, well, these are the clear differences in these 2 solutions, right? If I'm trying to accomplish this, then this is what I'm going to use. If I'm trying to accomplish this, then this is the way I'm going to go. So that's where all of the details and explanations come in. And these sessions that we have come in, it's for comprehension. But when it comes to implementation, just taking a requirement or a request, a ticket, and bringing it to life, clicking, that's easy. It's those demo videos, the ones I don't demo on YouTube, like it's out there. So the meat and potatoes that separates you and makes you, proficient and great at the technology, or makes you master or conquer your interviews, is understanding the whys, right? If you're in an interview, for example, they're going to be asking, they might present you a situation, and it might be a definition, but it might also be a case where they just want to see how your thought process, right, on how you're going to get to a destination or get to a solution. Let me not say destination, but they arrive at a solution. And so absorb the content with the mindset that this is actually the work. This is actually in fact, there's something I always used to say to students before, like, don't think of yourself as going through a training, think of yourself as starting a new career. Because everything we do, if you do the homeworks, the project, all those homeworks, especially those first 6 modules, 5, 6, 7 modules, they are very voluminous. There's a lot of this. It's intentionally a lot. The reason is I want you to repeat certain things over and over again, so that you build a muscle memory to do those, because those are those fundamentals, those core day-to-day things you're going to run into. That's how you develop. And when you start doing those things, you're going to run into errors, you're going to run into mistakes, you're going to learn how to figure those out. What to do when this happens and what to do when this happens. And in the end, those mistakes now become your stories, right? When you're talking to somebody in an interview panel, you can literally walk through a situation of what happened to you when you were configuring something and how you resolved it. And that's a valid story you can tell. That's valid experience that you can share.
Okay.
So, Prof, I'd like to add a little bit to what you said. You nailed it. In fact, you overkilled the question. Well, let me bring it home a little bit to the user aspect of it. So, Doc, for example, you get to your first job. They're not
Okay.
going to say, come and install SQL. They could say that, but typically you're not going to get, come and install SQL Server. It could be maybe they assign a ticket to you that somebody is not able to connect to somewhere. You have to problem solve it. So because the prof has given us the background to how things work, you'll be able to think and problem solve. So
Hmm.
that's the only way. That's, the actual work, Prof, keep me honest here, is actually simpler than what Prof is giving us.
It's
But
so
he's
easy.
giving us,
It's literally a lot easier.
yes, he's giving us this to build a foundation for us
Hmm.
to now lift off from. So the actual work is not, it gets a little more intense depending on your environment you find yourself. But
Yeah,
overall, Prof is giving us much more than we need,
much
so
more.
we
Yeah,
can
Hmm.
think for
Okay.
ourselves. That's the
yeah,
way I can answer that. Could be the
yeah.
first week you join the company, first 2 weeks, just say, well, this ticket is just resolved. Maybe it could be as simple as a space issue. This space is almost full. Can you just expand it? Can you just make it, when it gets to 80%, let it keep expanding, by itself? We've already done that,
Hmm.
So that's what it is. It's actually simpler. I'm trying to allay your fears here. It's actually simpler than what
Okay.
here.
And
Thank
that's
you.
yeah, that's actually true. It's always funny when I say that to people and it doesn't look like I'm telling the truth. So I'm glad you're the one saying it for me. I stopped saying it's easy. It's easy, but the truth is, it's so I always want people to experience it and come back to and tell me like, wow, this is not actually that hard. I have one of my students come back and he goes, they look at me like I know too much. Like he was there, like, man, if you guys know, I just learned this thing. I said, oh, all I'm doing is mostly security, implementing, security, assigning permissions. A lot of companies, it's not. You run into those companies where things are, like we've talked about income a lot. Income is it's a unicorn in the terms of how things move and how things break. That's not the norm in most of that places. In most of that places, once if you set things up the right way, barring abrupt growth in volume of transactions or data size, just something spontaneous causing them to grow beyond capacity and things start breaking. Typically, there's stability with, especially within SQL Server. That's one thing Microsoft has done well is they simplified the architecture of the database, their database platform. So it's not you shouldn't be running into issues all the time. Having to deal with all of the different things. So that's why people do 2, 3 of these jobs and keep their sanity, right? Because if you spend 3 to 6 months on a job, you're going to realize you've probably seen everything that there is to that job. In that, maybe once in 6 months, there'll be one drastic thing that happens that gets everybody on a bridge, on a call to troubleshoot and do some investigation. And guess what most good companies do? When they have that issue, what they do is, okay, now that we saw this one issue, they document it. They document it, put it in a wiki or somewhere, so that if it ever happens again, we have a knowledge base that explains the cause and the solution of this thing. So somebody who comes in from the months later and let's say that issue repeats itself again, there's already a knowledge base to resolve that issue. So you'll see that a lot of times our job is so repetitive, right? The maintenance things are standard. Where to me, the fun jobs are those jobs that have a lot of projects where you're building out new solutions, building out new servers, you're working with development teams to, be part of that engineering part where, okay, they're trying to do something and you become the subject matter experts, giving your opinions. That's for me, that's the fun. Every job, those are the jobs that I've enjoyed doing where it wasn't boring for me because I got to learn something new in a new technology that they're trying to implement. And I get to be the expert, SQL Server person. So for I can actually talk SQL and show that I know something. But the day-to-day grind of, just working, um, a lot of times is boring. People come to work and then you see them on Netflix, they're chilling, and they're just watching notifications and checking emails. So I promise you, it's a pretty sweet hustle once if you're in the right situation. And then once in a while, obviously, there'll be something that happens here, there, that will lead you to actually use the reason why, as simple as this could be sometimes, and then as much as you get paid, it's not commensurate. So when you look at it, sometimes you wonder, like, if it's that easy, why you paid that much? The reason is in the value, right? The more expensive cars today, for example, are also the easier ones to use and drive, right? They've simplified. So harder doesn't mean better or more expensive, right? Simplicity actually is costly, but why is it more expensive to own a Tesla and drive a Tesla? Maintenance is costlier, right? Keeping that thing going, it will may not ever have an issue. These companies have this organization, they are Teslas, basically. Things are likely not going to break, but they want to know that on the one occasion where something might break, we want to make sure that we have a dedicated person who knows what they're doing on ground, on staff, to resolve it. A lot of times hiring us is political, strictly, so that we can tell our clients, listen, I have a senior level DBA overseeing your data. I have this guy that works in our team. He's been doing this for the last 20 years. I promise you, nothing's going to go wrong. Like, even if there's a crisis, they want to be able to say that and mean it. And those situations are very few and far between in, again, environments that are set up properly. And this thing is only going to keep getting easier with the advancement, because the SQL Server is getting better and better. It's improving, it's enhancing, they're expanding ability. In fact, with cloud, as they go cloud again, cloud is going to do what it's going to do, but it's a lot of that disruption is going to take a lot of time before we're fully all cloud based, because you have to think about hardware manufacturers, think about virtual machine, the virtual box people, the VMwares, the battle they are going to put up to to prevent that full cloud takeover. But with all of this new, it's only going to get easier, because with cloud solutions, with software as a service, we're talking about it, infrastructure as a service and software as a service the other day. Some of the mundane routine things are even outsourced, are no longer are no longer even part of our thing anymore. Like the standard maintenance operations, for example, in a cloud, things like your patching, you won't have to be doing those things. Microsoft maintains that for you. So the work itself is not complicated. I always tell people, Google is your best friend, YouTube is your second best friend. From a point of clicking, I'm making sure things happen. Let's say you don't have one, you're going to have the material, the training, forever, and anything with top up on it, you're going to have access to. But let's say something is not there for you to reference. You can always find it on YouTube. The more important aspect of my value to you is helping you understand the inner workings, right? That, understanding the whys and, how each thing work and fits where they fit. That's why I spend time breaking down concepts, because for me, that's what separates. A lot of people know how to do the clicking. It doesn't impress me. It doesn't impress anybody, right? It's not impressive to know how to do the clicking. It just means if you're competent enough, I can show you how to click and do things, or on SQL Server. If you can use a computer, I can show you how to click. But why are you clicking what you're clicking? What exactly are you clicking? That is where the separation comes in, right? So be not dismayed. You are on the right track. That's a lot. Yeah, so that's really it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, doctor.
Is Jesse okay? Last week he didn't show up.
Oh,
Is
no,
he okay?
he is. I saw him. Well, I myself saw him. We met earlier in the day. I know they had he has had a function, the family function. So I thought he'll be done by now. Um, or maybe he's done and he just spent, you know, how you go for occasions back home and just ready to go to bed. Not just back home, everywhere. So
Right.
I'm not surprised totally. Um, but yeah, he's good. What else? What else? What else do we have going on?
Yeah, this week just flew. Before I knew it, I mean, I was asking my wife, I'm like, wait, what
What
happened yesterday?
happened?
Is today Friday?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I unfortunately I'm not used to eating pounded yam. I ate pounded yam yesterday, and I didn't sleep well. I'm not feeling too good. So let me report myself.
Oh,
Well,
about that.
it's once in a while. Maybe you went too hard. Maybe you had missed it, so
It's possible, yeah.
you went a little
Too
too
heavy.
hard with the yeah. It's learning to ease into some of these things now, not eat with my eyes.
Yeah, I'm struggling. I mean, I usually do it. Not that I do it maybe once a month, once in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe once in 2 months. But yesterday, actually, I was coerced to eat it because I was already ready to eat my salad, and I just got
Yeah.
upstairs, and my wife said pounded jam is ready, and I went for it. I should have said no. Let me eat my salad. Anyway, that's what's going. I hope this weekend I'll rest and then jump on my SQL Server. They thought this month end I'm going to release my resume, and I'm going to stick to my plan to release my resume. I don't think I have to be perfect to start testing the waters in the market.
No.
So yeah, because I don't want to be dishonest to my employer. If not, I can actually just bulldoze my way into getting it.
The truth
I
and
think I'm
the
going to join Mr. Finder in that when
um
if I don't release mine before that time.
Okay.
no, see the difference between is Mrs. Finder has done this thing before for a long time with an Oracle DBA. The difference is not that much. They are like literally a lot of things are a lot of the concepts are the same. So performance tuning, high availability, they are all concepts that exist. It's just implemented differently, right? It's just vehicles, but one is a different make and all. But at the core of it, concept wise, they are very so he can use his Oracle experience to answer some SQL Server questions to navigate. So that's his highly unfair advantage,
Advantage.
and it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
help
Mr.
that.
Finder is even confusing myself because as far as I'm concerned, you are I don't know. I almost
So this is what, and he's not don't let him confuse you because he said it at the beginning. This is a product of restlessness for him, right? He just does not stay in one place. That's why he's in this class. There's no that reason. Yeah. It's just he's looking for something else to do.
Yeah, I'm always up to
so
something.
so that's his own
So, but let me
incentive.
hear Doc out. How so? Let me to understand.
because you've been a DBA before, no matter how long it is. It's like riding a bike. I mean,
Mhm.
I've not ridden a bike for maybe close to 20, 30 years, but I'm sure if I get on a bike now, I'm not going to just fall over with the first. So yes, it's good to review and go over materials and all, but you are not green. That's my point. So if you want to be out there, even tomorrow, you can be. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You know that technology has changed, though.
Oh yeah, technology changes, but the concepts are the same.
True.
Um,
Very true.
the yeah the concept and it's probably just going to be it's improving or changing how it's implementation will be looking a little different. Um, but core of all of the technologies are still going to be what it is. So to that point, Doctor, I say don't follow his timeline, don't follow his schedule.
Okay.
Um, Just
I won't.
just go. Right? Mr. Finder is
When are you
gonna be
going to
fine.
send my resume back to me so I can put it out?
I'll look at it this weekend. I think my it's not stabilized. I've not caught up with everything yet, but it's on my. I'll probably even spend some time with it, like at least by tomorrow. I'm actually going to look through it because it's already done for the most part. There are just a few things I want to check for. I want to make sure that are there at the
Then, so
first
after
job.
that, I want to transform, I want to change my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, so I'll do that. Send it to you. So once you get your resume, you can now change your LinkedIn and then upload your resume to Dice, Indeed, Career Builder, Monster, those places.
To
And
where? I didn't get that.
I think we have a list. I sent a list earlier,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Dice,
I didn't know that's
Indeed,
what. Yeah, I
Career
remember
Builder,
there's a list. I'll
Monster.
go back to that
Yeah,
lecture.
so those are the places that I recommend ZipRecruiter, and of course, well, LinkedIn is your um it's your it's your international resume. What I call it is your e-resume. So yeah, and then just start like it once you start getting the phone calls, um, those are the best ways to assess yourself. Once those recruiters are calling you and then you're beginning to have those conversations, you'll always come back like, okay, they asked me about this and I have no idea what it was. And then
Yeah.
you can go
Can I
back
have
and
like
okay.
can I have like a mock interview, Mr. Finder or Prof? Can I have like a mock interview with you?
Prof will be
Where
the
my
best person because he's still very current.
no
I'm
Prof.
I'm
I
rusty
mean Prof.
and I'm still learning too.
Can I have a
I,
mock interview with you?
I don't do mock interviews. I think they're a waste of time. There are two things I don't go for: mock interview and past interview questions that people get from the internet. And because it goes against what I believe no two interviews will be the same in
Okay.
this line of work. Um, the the people that do our interview when you're interviewing for a DBA role is different from almost technical roles, most tech roles. When you interview for them, it's different from say, the business related careers or finance or all of those things. Most of those guys are trained. You deal with HR, you deal with trained interviewers. When it's DBA interviews, the people that interview you are technical people. They are Mr. Finders, people like myself. And I don't know I'm sure you've been part of some interview panels.
Yes, I have been.
Yeah, I mean, even Mr. Finder, like, how much notice did you get before you had to interview any of the people you interviewed for?
Sometimes you just pull you that
They
we have
just
an
literally
interview.
pull, literally
Yeah.
90% of the time, they'll just call me like, hey, Namdi, are you free? We have somebody coming in today.
Yep.
Can you speak to them? Are
Yep.
you available to speak to them by 2 o'clock? And so they told me 15 minutes ago, and I'm coming into an interview. So you see, you walk into interviews, and the person talking to you has no questions prepared. They haven't seen your resume before. Some people might prepare, but what they have is your interview, and they're looking at it for the first time as you're in the room. And they are literally going. So I've had many cases where people are interviewing and they don't know what to ask, so they're talking. And they start talking about them. So you realize this interview is a 30-minute interview. I better insert myself in the conversation somehow. And that's because most technical people are not necessarily expert communicators. They're not expert. If you find people like myself, right, that actually enjoy talking, right, Mr. Finder, it's not, and that's why I'm not worried about Mr. Finder, because just by he can say something that even if it's wrong, it will sound correct. And
And
sometimes
that's
that's all
so
you
true.
need. That's all you need is to sound like you know what you're talking about. So, right. So where I'm going is you can practice all I've had like interview questions, interview scenarios, all of that. And then you go to the first two, three, and then you don't see any of those things. Now you're looking at now I'm beginning to look like I'm lying to you.
Yeah, and you feel like you're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, so now you feel like, okay, I don't know anything, and it's not correct. So the concepts don't change, right? There are certain things that I've scripted for us that I want us to be consistent with. See those performance tunings, resolving slow running query steps. That's a standard. Keep that. That will always come. You see the high availability ones. I gave you 4 steps to answering high availability questions. You know, the level of high availability, the requirements, the roles, and the process. Then back up there are certain things I've scripted out, I've laid out as a template. Those ones, stick with them. Everything else around it is going to be as it comes out. So that's, for me, that's the more important. That's why I need us to start interviewing, because half the time what interviews are not necessarily what you say. It's people just walking, and then out of fear they, but when you go through one, I always tell people going for the first time, you have one bad interview that you need to get out of your system really quickly so that you can look, I've had my one bad interview where I don't know what I was talking about and I messed it up completely. Get that one out of the way real quick, do it early, get it out of the way so that you feel good. And then afterwards, you're going to start realizing is this the scope of interviews to start reducing. You realize that these areas that I mentioned right now, you have your introductory statements, you have it's backup and recovery, disaster recovery, backup and restored, all the disaster recovery conversations, performance tuning, high availability. If you're in these core areas and you understand it inside out, 50 to 60% of your interview is good, 90% of the time. Like if you go for 10 interviews and these are the areas you're prepared for, you will come out at least you've covered 70% of the things that you're going to be asked. All the other ones can come from anywhere, depending on what they have going on, right? And like I said, it's random DBAs who are busy that day who come out and maybe depending on what they were dealing with, like, hey, you say you have replication. Can you explain that to me? If you can clearly explain it and make it simple to them, that's always a win. Like, take complex concepts. For me, that's a rule for doing interviews. Take complex concepts, make it simple. Mention the buzzword. The buzzwords they want to hear. Make sure you mention those buzzwords in the buzzwords, but it's simple to understand, because that's something most technical people are not able to do for themselves. They are not able to. They know what it is, but they're not able to simplify it. So if you're able to take something, that makes sense. I never thought about it like that. Once you get them to start saying things like that, you are winning in your interviews.
The reason I give profs the videos A++ is the way he explains this thing. As a DBA, I mean, yeah, I'm certified Oracle DBA. I've been there, done that. The way I'm enjoying myself because the way he broke it down, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. In fact, what are they going to ask you in interviews, except you just totally forgot? But the concept, you will know the concept. I mean, it's just, it's not that, I mean, Prof has done a fantastic job. You have to just
I needed to do a video and say all of this things you just said right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important.
I mean, I would
repeat that exactly. Don't add.
I would do the video. When I come in, I plan to come in maybe Monday.
Okay.
Just give me a setup and I will,
All right. Yeah. We'll record it in the.
Whatever.
In the
yeah.
page,
This is,
maybe I should plan and come the day you're coming. I was there on Tuesday.
Yes.
My time, I'm just a restless individual, right? So, but they called me and I told them that I'll probably be there on Monday.
How was it? How has it been?
With me?
No, Prof.
Oh no, it's been actually quiet. There's not been. We had somebody come in today, but the person that came in today was so in love with the space. I'm like, wow, that's she was really happy. She's like, yeah, I should tell people about it. So we're excited about that. But next Saturday we'll actually do the official launch. But we'll still keep doing the open co-working days. So I'm going to send out like WhatsApp broadcast messages I just always try not to do those because there's already too many random
Yeah. So
My
I
my
have a
initial plan
feedback.
was to come daily, but
Yeah, sorry about
yeah,
that.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a feedback for Prof. I've been getting so many emails,
Okay.
and you see, when you get too many emails, it gets to a point you get numb to them. You don't even
Yeah, you open them.
So every day they ask me, what do you want to see? What do you want to this? What do you want to that? If it's not that I'm invested in this, I will just click and I'll block it immediately because it's too. Once a week, I think is good so that you would be looking forward to it. Actually, once a week, you get an email. If you have a small content like a capsule, you read it. You're happy. It gives you a small nugget. So, but like, right, I bought them like 670. I mean, I just get them like almost every day. I'm like, hey.
And I have a feeling maybe it might be. So I think it might be. I have to.
Auto-generated?
Well, the emails they're not auto-generated, so but it's automated, like the sending of it. So I have my team, they put together this, and then they send out depending on what pool you're in our communication. So if there are certain things because you're already enrolled as a student, you shouldn't be getting certain emails, right? It's more for the
Yeah, the
um
public. Yeah.
the public who those people who are not, maybe you're trying to nurture them, get them informed, and so I think so now it's probably you're getting everything from everywhere. That's
I have a feedback too.
probably that.
I almost made a comment yesterday on the platform, but I just, ignored. I got an email saying that the class has been moved from 11:30 to, is it 12:30 or 1:30
So that too.
p.m.,
Yeah.
and I know that those classes have been changed a long time ago, at least up to a month. So I was now wondering, why am I still getting that the class is changed? I wanted to, make a comment,
Yeah. So
but I
that's
just,
supposed to be for the alumni group, but thanks for still raising it. Because that's how I know these guys are doing what they're doing, how they're doing it. There's only so much I can keep up with in terms of. But the truth is, in a way, I'm kind of happy some of this because and I'll tell you why. At some point, right, we're not sending out anything at all. And it was a hassle, and it was me, and I was confused, and it was chaos. So for the thing to be actually happening, there's obviously there's things to clean up and do better, but that's better than before when it was um no, there was no system in place at all, right? So all we need to do is make our system better, and I'll take all this feedback and definitely push it to them. So I really appreciate it. But
Yeah.
one part of me is happy that something is for me. It's progress, I guess. Just knowing my journey in this game, I got into this thing because I liked SQL Server and did DBA, and I'm gifted in the area of communication, or I've done a lot of invested a lot in working on my public speaking skills and everything. So I was playing to my strengths, but didn't realize the whole ramifications of running a business. And so now that we're getting around to systemizing things and having a team and staff and different moving parts, um, it's a good thing. I don't see it as completely. It's not a bad thing to me. It's progress. It's a sign of progress. I would just so thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate it. I will let the hardworking people behind the scenes know.
okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. And also, if you have any feedback, always let me know. Is no feedback is bad. It's learning opportunities.
That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you all so much. So please, next, I'm still like I said, on Saturday, next week Saturday will be the launch of the space. But we're still gonna have the open co-working days next week through Thursday.
I'll try show up on Monday. Then on
Yeah.
Saturday, I can try come just honor my prof.
Yes, please come through so we can, cut the ribbon
That'll be
and
awesome. Do I have to
officially
wear a suit?
declared.
What time is it?
It's going to be by 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Ah,
What's the dress code?
We haven't discussed the dress code. Just business casual will be where I'll go. It's Saturday. It's not like it's 2023. We don't have to wear suit anymore like that.
I'm always totally simple. This is
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah, and this is good. This
yeah.
is good.
That's
Yeah.
me. I don't,
This is good. Yeah,
before
I don't
COVID
think
hit, I went and bought like probably 10 suits, and COVID just hit once I finished
buying them.
the suit I just so I'm looking for any way to wear my suits.
Ah.
But I'm just kidding. I'm just as simple as it gets. I don't, yeah,
That's good.
dress
Life
up.
is better like that.
Yeah,
Life is better that way.
keep it simple.
Hmm.
Simplicity is my strength.
Yeah, it just works better.
Yeah, people don't believe that I keep it simple though, but I think I do.
I think they see
Anyway.
all the sophisticated things you do, and so they expect your life to be that way.
My in-laws, one time I think I went to a party. I was wearing my jeans and t-shirt, and everybody was there. Niger dressing, all their, all
That's for
their
sure.
designers. I'm like, I'm like, see, this how you came. I'm like, yeah. What is this in life? What is in life? I mean, I can afford to buy whatever I want, but I choose not to. Bill Gates and the billionaires, what do they wear?
Mm-hmm.
Turtleneck, and they just move on. Not all this. Yeah, I don't have time for that. The same madam begs me to go, brings out something for me to wear. I could wear it, but for me, is my t-shirt and my jeans, or my joggers especially. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
yep.
Doc, thank you
That's
for
a
bringing
good
that up
one.
because I actually forgot. I got that email as well, but I forgot to bring it up. Thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Yep.
All right. Thank you all so much. Let's enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
See you all next week by God's grace.
All
You
right.
too.
So I will say thank you also, and I'm waiting for my.
Yes, absolutely. I'll get that to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yes, you will have a resume to post on Monday for
Okay.
sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Bye.